the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown.
Good evening, everybody. It is time for the CERT Present Show, the November 21st edition, 2019, of the show that comes to you on a bi-weekly basis. I shouldn't say bi-monthly basis, I should say, to tell you about what's going on in the community, giving you some safety tips, and other important community information. I am your host, Lou Bruno, and I am in our wonderful studio at the Round Lake Beach Metro Station, along with our fabulous crew. Again, as always, our co-host and co-executive producer, Ann Walker. Ann, how are you? I guess I will
turn on the mic
microphone.
and then I can tell you. I'm very good, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Terry Cox, our senior advisor and consultant, on loan from Citizens Court Council of Lake County.
And I am here.
And they're happy to loan you out, mind you.
Yeah, they tell me to get out.
Yeah, they are. Mary Beedman is still not with us because she's enjoying some warm weather. So, Mary, have a good time. It feels particularly cold out tonight. I don't know why that is.
It's damp.
Yeah, it may be. And Jill Hughes is on her way, so we haven't seen our contributing editor in a bit, and she's going to have an important role in some live music coming up soon for WRLR. So can't wait to talk with that, Jill, and she'll give us some turkey cooking tips that she brought over from England. Yeah, Thanksgiving is a big holiday there.
Hey,
You better go back and read your history.
pay attention to your driving, Joe.
Yes, she's on the radio now. I'm sure listening on her car radio on that. But to those of you that may regular listeners to the station or our show, we're actually doing two shows in 2 weeks, which is not our normal course, but next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So I thank everybody for getting in here 2 weeks in a row and get the show on. And we will be coming on one extra time in December because of the holidays. So, Ann, do you want to tell people about that, when we're going to be on?
Oh, gosh, if I can remember. December 5.
December 5.
December 12.
That'll be your special Christmas
That's
show.
special. And then December 19.
No, December 26th, the day after Christmas.
26, yeah. Sorry.
We'll go 2 weeks there. And that'll be sort of our year-end recap. And the 12th, we're working on something real big. I don't know. There's a local family that does a great light show near Antioch. And we're going to have them in. My wife and I went to see it last year. And they actually pipe music over a local radio channel, too.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Talking about, you said December 12th? It's also Prevention Day in Mundelein Stand-Up.
And we were talking about that last week? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, a couple things, because, again, we have an action-packed show tonight. We're going to have several different things to talk about, and we'll have people in studio. And why don't we say hello to one of our guests? He's here early, but that's okay. And that would be Heath Graham. Heath, say hello to everybody.
How you doing? Good evening.
And you're a firefighter with the Gurnee Police Department, Fire Department.
Yep. Lieutenant with Gurnee Fire Department. Been there going on 24 years now.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, thanks for getting by. But in the second half hour of the show, from 7 o'clock on, we're going to be talking a little bit about a hockey tournament you participated in. Yep, and just so everybody knows, hey, the local team won the championship. So we love hearing that. We'll talk a little bit more at length in the second half hour. In the first half hour, we're going to talk with our old friend. He's with us all the time, and we enjoy him every time when he's on, Chief Tim Sasko, who will be talking to us about a great charity event for the Christmas season, that being Operation North Pole. We'll be calling out to Tim in a second. Couple other things I want to mention first. First of all, Terry Cox, our advisor and consultant, I think everybody knows. Terry's had a career in firefighting already.
Or a couple.
A couple. And we've talked about what he does with the Metropolitan Emergency Support Services and what they do to aid first responders that are out on the scene. And while I was saying I'm not getting enough sleep this week, Terry twice responded to the scene of fires, and not close to his home, Evanston and Lincolnwood. And again, Terry, congratulations. That's just outstanding of you. And you're to be commended for that.
Well, if we went to a fire and we did not have pound cake, we would not be welcome at the fire.
And Heath is nodding, yes, that's right.
Because I'll often wake up in the morning, as everybody's want to do, go to Facebook first to see, like, who I should call names at today. But you see a post from Terry saying, it's 5 a.m. and I'm just getting back in because I was at a fire and such and such. He did that twice this week, Vance, and that's to be commended. That is outstanding. The other thing, it is the holiday season, and people, I think, just are so. You already are ready for Thanksgiving, right? I mean, you would want Thanksgiving to be tomorrow.
Oh, no. I'm happy that it's next week.
Okay, Heath, are you ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm ready.
Yeah, everybody's ready because somebody was I was emailing a business thing about, okay, well, let's set the appointment for such and such. And I said, well, maybe Thursday or Friday. And they go, sorry, Thursday we're off all day, and then Friday's only a half day. I'm going, hold on, that's next week. Chum of the gun. I know it's cold. I know it feels like Thanksgiving, but let's wait a bit. But I think everyone's in the mood for it. And it's also a little bit later this year because I think in the past few years we've had it on the 22nd or 23rd almost, but it's not coming up to the 28th, and that's why we won't be here live next week. Yes.
I just remembered something. I've got to get my sister's birthday card in the mail.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Anyone I know?
No, Mary. She's out in Colorado.
Oh, does she listen to our show?
Mary? I don't think so. I know
What?
Alice does in Portugal,
Okay.
and Pat does in Arizona.
Alice and Pat, we love you.
Let's see. Ginny's out in Arizona. I don't know if she does or not.
How come Jeannie doesn't listen to me? Jeannie loves me.
Ginny?
Yeah. But what's wrong with Mary? How come Mary's not, listening?
Well, she's busy.
And come on, this is the CERT Presents show. We're award winning. Can't believe
I'll
that.
give you her phone number. You can call her and talk.
I
with
will.
her. Okay.
I will. And I'm trying to get our friend Bill to listen in.
He's listened in a couple times. He's
okay.
out in, I keep forgetting.
New England.
What?
New England.
Yeah, New
He's
England.
in
I'm
New
thinking
England.
New Hampshire?
Yeah. Something like that. A tax-free state or something.
No, it's not a text.
A tax-free state.
Yeah, and the station is going to go broke if we keep getting calls from Australia.
They're collect. Don't worry about that. We never accept a call from Australia. Hey, we got to get to Tim, but
Yes.
in line with a lot of charitable events, which Tim is going to talk to us about. And I'm very happy to see this, but in a certain sense, I'm sad too. There was an article in the local paper today, and the headline was "Sizable Crowds Lines Up at Lake Zurich Coat Getaway." And there was a picture of it in the paper where the line looks like it's extending quite a distance, and that it was a winter coat giveaway for people that are needy.
Yeah.
And it's outstanding, and I know even at Fremont Township, a lot of the townships do it. Will have coat and clothing, drives, and where you can come and pick it up. But listen, our economy is, we're at full employment. People mostly are working out there. Everyone has a job. Everyone's making money, supposedly. And I was just shocked at so many people that were showing up. They gave over 900 jackets. I mean, we're not talking about, lower income areas. We're talking about the north suburban area, which is, I'm not going to say everybody's upscale up here, but supposedly, a little bit better off. But it was happy in that so many people, do charitable events, contribute, help out, and think of those people that need more. But I was just really surprised at the number. I don't know, is that wrong to feel that way, or?
I'm not surprised at the number.
I mean, because you would think that maybe in where we're at, and America Day, you would think people would not have that need, but they do.
There are homeless people all over the United States. San Francisco, Chicago.
Well, these weren't per se
The suburbs.
homeless. They needed winter clothing.
Right.
Yeah. They may very well have homes. Well, at this point in time, I am going to get to Tim Sasko. Sorry, Tim. I know you're probably listening and saying, "Where is this guy?" He's still talking. So,
As usual.
As usual. So I guess you should be used to it. You've been here enough. Oops. I better turn back on the sound.
Hi, boss.
Hey, Tim. How are you?
I'm good.
Sorry, I made you wait.
Yeah.
I was slightly on my soapbox on it. But how you feeling? I heard the sciatica's acting up.
Yeah, age is a funny thing, but you can't let it slow you down too much. So you just stay focused and keep moving forward. So
Okay.
things are improving, and that'll be determined a little bit more by an MRI tomorrow morning. So
I've sympathized. I've had sciatica, and it's nasty. Well, we have some of our regular people that I think you know quite well, Ann Walker and Terry Cox. And we're joined right now. He came early, but we're happy to have him. Heath Graham. I don't know if you know Heath from Gurnee Fire Department.
I do. We've met before, and Lieutenant Heath, best to you guys in the Gurnee Fire Department over the holidays for sure.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
So Heath may drop in before we start talking some pucks in the second half hour on it. But hey, Tim, I know last few times you've been here, you've been saying, hey, when we get into the holiday season, I got to tell you about Operation North Pole. And I know you were on before about it, but it's always great to hear about it. So, and I know it's extremely popular and it helps out a lot of families, but I'll turn it over to you for details at this point.
Fantastic. And then thank you for the opportunity to talk about it, because as you're talking about coats on the air right now and that distribution, it's another thing that actually we're a part of, and I'll explain that with the partnership that we have with Operation Warm. But Operation North Pole started, this is our 10th anniversary, so we're really excited this year. The fact that we've expanded to the level we have and the sustainability of a charity over 10 years is sometimes, they don't, not many are able to do that. And so we're very excited that we've reached this important milestone in the history of this operation. What we do is we create a special day for children and their families who are suffering from life-threatening illnesses like cancer. We have a great network with a lot of our hospitals around the area. And as of last year and continued in this year, we've actually gone national. We've had families from Nebraska and parts beyond that have applied for consideration to be a part of the Operation North Pole event. So it is truly just a very, very well-orchestrated holiday party for all these families to give them one day of not having to worry about their children's illnesses, all of the effects that go along with that, with the dealing with medical bills and especially siblings that are not the sick children, but they are certainly part of the family unit that is affected by it. And so we basically, our theme is we have no sick children that day, and we really work hard to create an environment so mom and dad can have a lot of fun, the kids can have a lot of fun. It's partnered with the Union Pacific and the Metro system in Chicago, and really probably the only national public transportation system that's involved with a charity event like this, where we have basically we start off the day with our families. They come together, they have breakfast, there's hotel stays for them, we raise money for that, and then these some 382 family members this year come to the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in the morning, and we get them started. We have a outstanding support from police and fire throughout the whole northwest suburban area, bringing vehicles. We have the Chicago Mounted Police Patrol and a host of other people that are involved with, basically having this really fast warm up to the morning. And then we take them on our magical train ride, a fully decorated Metro train. I think we're at 7 cars this year with the locomotive, and they go off to the North Pole. They're escorted there by Mrs. Claus. In fact, one of our launch events just happened. We had a high tea.
I'm looking at that
17th,
now. How did I miss that?
Prospect, and it was really outstanding. It's a great warm up to the event. And and Mrs. Claus entertains everybody for a nice afternoon lunch, and it happened to be in Mount Prospect this year. And then So when we get to the day's event, they go to the North Pole. Santa meets them, and they come back for an extravaganza gala in the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center that is beyond anybody's dreams. I always say I operate our website, and the pictures do not even tell a tenth of what goes on that day as far as the emotion and the involvement of our police and fire and EMS personnel, and really creating a special day. And behind the scenes, we have families that are the secret Santas for these children, and every child within the charity, again, all the children, if you have 7 children, if you have 2 children, they all are provided with the opportunity to submit lists to Santa, and as far as Christmas lists, and they are provided with those. We have a very outstanding group of people that come together every year and generate some probably $80,000 or $90,000 worth of gifts for our children, and so we fill their wishes, and they get to go home with this bundle of joy and fun and memories that would hopefully last a lifetime. And so it's really just a really, really special event for us. Now, I have to emphasize always that this is not an event that sells tickets or anything else for it. It's very exclusive to our families, and we're very cautious about their identity and involvement. But the general community can really be a part of this on a couple different fronts. And of course, I always love the opportunity to be able to tell you about this every year. There are some things that we're trying to encourage.
I should say that we're all looking at the pictures of the train here now. So it's always great that we can, at least once a year, we see these wonderfully decorated trains.
Yeah, and it stays out on that track. We have corporate sponsors, and it stays out on the system. The Union Pacific and Metro try to keep it together for about 90 days. So it's a moving billboard for our sponsors. Very unique when you look at all the other signage that's along some of our major highways, and really the fact that this can touch people every single day of the week as they get onto the Metro system. It pretty much runs on the Northwest line that goes out from Ogilvie out to Harvard and back. We don't take that entire trip, but it touches a lot of people along that Northwest line. So one involvement the day of the event, it truly is not a spectator event. We have a lot of respect for our families and what we do, but people can come and cheer the train on as it moves through basically from Des Plaines out to Crystal Lake, and then does a return trip. So along that leg through Mount Prospect, Arlington Heights, up through Palatine into Fox River Grove, and then up to Crystal Lake. People can join us along the lines there with our police and fire departments that are all along there, cheering our children and our family on to their trip to the North Pole. So that's one piece that, while it's short and sweet, it's still very important to see the children and their faces kind of pushed up against the windows of the train, and they're looking out because they're the special people that day. They're really, they become our heroes, because our heroes in police and fire and EMS certainly are honoring them, and I'll talk about our gauntlet system that we have. So people can get involved with that. It runs approximately from the train leaves about...
Hey, Tim.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I hope everybody in the audience knows that you're listening to WRLR 98.3 FM, the voice of Lake County. And,
LP.
LP, very good. Broadcasting from where, Ann?
Round Lake Beach Metro Station.
Okay. And they can also hear us on
WRLR.FM.
or TuneIn Radio.
Correct.
And Jill is joining us, so she is here. It was a wonderful hat on. I do like that hat. So now we have the entire gang here. But we have our great friend, Tim Sasko, who is more busy in retirement, I think, than he was on the fire department, because you're always talking about 3 or 4 different things. When you're with the fire department, all you had to worry about was the fire department. But on that. And we're talking about the great charity event, Operation North Pole, that's already kicked off with the special tea yesterday, which, I really would have loved to have been there. But when does the main event occur? I don't think we got the date out there.
So that will occur on, I forgot to put that in, that'll occur on December 14th. And again, to make sure all the listeners know it's a private event, other than some of the lead-up events that happen with that. So there is the day of, where you can cheer the train on, and it basically runs from about 10:30 to 1:30 along the Northwest Central line, between Des Plaines and Crystal Lake, in a return trip. So we encourage people to come out and cheer our families on. Then train goes rolling through, you get an opportunity to see it. The other thing that happens prior to that week is on December 7th and 8th, the weekend before, We will have a tree wrapping party. We have close to probably, or tree decorating, party. We have probably close to 300 to 400 Christmas trees that are adopted by corporations, community organizations, and things like that, where they're allowed to decorate them in any motif that they want to, and it creates again that personal connection with families to our families. And so that opportunity exists again this year for people to come out, and we basically say, bring whatever wrapping you want, or decorations to put on the tree, and set the theme of what you want. We've had some extremely creative stuff, including our own tree that has our miniature versions of our train running in it. A gentleman put tracks inside of the large Christmas tree that runs during the event itself. So that tree wrapping party's at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center, 9 o'clock each day from 9 to 4 on December 7th and 8th. And anybody can participate in that. We encourage you to contact our office. You can go to operationnorthpole.org and let us know that you want to be a tree decorating sponsor. The other thing that's just a couple days before the event, I mentioned the presents for the children. We have some 2,000 to 3,000 gifts that get wrapped in literally a couple hours because of the large crowd that we get for the present wrapping event. That's on December 12th this year, also at the Convention Center from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that will... that you bring any wrapping paper, scissors, all the ribbon, everything you want to do in wrapping it. It's a very organized event. And we get probably close to 300 volunteers that evening that come together for just listening to some holiday music and having a lot of fun and really putting everything together for the kids for the 14th.
Yeah.
What date was that, Jim?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Pardon?
What date was that?
That is on December the 12th. So that's the Thursday night preceding the event. We wrap everything. Santa has a secret semi-tractor trailer that he stores it in, and then it's there for the children when they finish the event on the 14th. They go up to Santa, they see him, and then they are provided an escort to all of their the joys that all these families have come together and sponsored. All the children in each family get $300 worth of gifts. So it's really extensive when you look at it. And a very heartwarming piece this year, we've actually had some of our sick children who said that they wanted to do something for a brother or sister who has been a part of their journey with their terminal illnesses. And you want to talk about making you cry, and I do every year when I'm at this event. It's amazing to see that some of the children who are the sick children, are sending us messages that I'd really like X for my older brother because it's been a rough ride. And it's unimaginable to experience that, that type of a heartfelt feeling that they have for their siblings, and it's pretty amazing. So we've had some of that this year. We have a medical staff that's on the train that provides for all these children, and just really an outstanding event. And then, of course, like Thanksgiving coming up next week, you mentioned about is nobody likes to do the dishes, but we do have our tear down event on Monday afterwards, which goes back to being a public event. That if we have community groups that want to engage with us and become part of this process on an annualized basis, we put up this winter wonderland over the course of 2 weeks, and believe it or not, it comes down in about 10 hours. So with the right amount of help, and it's all packaged up. We have semi-tractor trailers full of our decorations and everything. So if anybody has a group that wants to do something on Monday, the 16th, that's our teardown event from 8:30 in the morning till we're done, which is usually before 4 o'clock.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
I want to ask how do families that are in need get in touch with you, or if I knew a family that I thought could benefit from this event and the services you provide, the volunteers provide, contact you, reach out to through the website, or?
Yeah, they can reach out through the website. There's a contact us portion of the website, and so to that end, they can reach out to us. The timeline of this typically is that we put out an application process. It's become that popular, and I mentioned being national now. We can only handle so many children simply because of the Metro system and the fact that they've actually moved revenue trains off of their system, and there's a lot of logistics that go on with all of that stuff. So there is a limitation that we have is how big this can get, and we are already occupying a 30,000 square foot room that we've actually blown out of and going to the lobbies now of the Stevens Convention Center. So there are some limitations to that. We have a screening team that goes through all of the hardships and evaluates all the families, which is a very, very tough task for them. But that typically will occur in June and July of each year, coming up into August for the application period. But knowing something in advance is not a problem. For us to have a family on record that is in need certainly is important. And I mentioned, I'll throw a little plug in really quick. I did mention Operation Warm. This past year, we've worked with schools. We look for schools that have a high volume of children who are on food programs and distribute coats. And in the last 3 years, I'll collectively put this together, we've distributed almost 15,000 winter coats to children, and this is outside of the Operation North Pole event for our families that have terminal ill children. This is for children in schools all over the Chicago area. I don't remember how many schools we've tapped now, but close to 15,000 coats in 3 years that we've provided to put a warm coat on children as much as we can. So we're expanding our footprint with our partnership with a group called Operation Warm, and it's pretty important that we look at that.
Hey, Tim, we're brushing up, of course, to the top of the hour, and I want to tell everybody, you heard the time, and we're actually going to have Tim back on December 12th will be our Christmas show, and you'll be part of it, and you can tell us if there's anything last minute and needs. I'll open up for one or two more questions, because there's a couple things I want to ask Tim before we have to take our break, and I'll go to Jill first.
I was just going to say, I think you need your own show. You're doing you just really good on the show. It's just a tremendous thing that they're doing. So, and it sounds like it's really expanding. So, if we can help out with that, it's great.
Well, we're happy to do that here on the CERT show on WRLR, and that's why we're here and highlighting all the many great things. Heath, your opportunity to ask a question on the radio.
Chief, I might have missed it, but where do you guys do the takedown? What town is that in?
Yeah.
In case we have people that want to go over there and help out with that.
That's at the Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, the Monday afterwards at 8:30 in the morning. And because Lieutenant Graham asked about that, the other thing that is important is police and fire do a gauntlet. They do a reception of the children and their families at the North Pole, which is what really starts out the event that afternoon on the 14th. And we have invited all the police and fire departments throughout the Chicago area to be a part of that. And we make these children our hero that day, just like they look at, firefighter, paramedics, and police officers as being their heroes. And our entire team is literally hundreds of police and firefighters and paramedics come out, and we're all down on one knee, and we welcome them to North Pole so we can, basically almost look them in the eye, the children, as they come through. And it's a pretty remarkable event. This gauntlet has become nationally famous and has been featured on many of the news networks within the Chicago market. So, to Lieutenant Graham, and I know Gurney's got a team that's participated in this in the past, and I know a lot of the North suburban departments are there. Vehicles coming down so that the kids can crawl on them in the morning, and then being a part of that gauntlet is the reception of all receptions when they get to the North Pole.
Okay, Terry. No? Yes? Maybe?
He does a great job explaining, so I just let him go.
That's great. Hey,
Careful.
Ann, go ahead.
I was looking at your website earlier today, and one thing I've noticed that, and I'll read it, Operation North Pole, you're dedicated to expanding your mission by working with high school and college-age students so they will reach out to people in need in their communities. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, we're trying to create a legacy program because as my sciatica acts up, none of us are getting younger, and we want to really make sure that that the next generation, and I think we are there. We are really starting to see such a surge with our fire departments and police departments throughout the area that we are bringing new people on that are becoming more and more part of the planning process, which is extremely important to us because we want to make sure this is here 25 years from now. The unfortunate circumstance is that the need will be there. We hope for cures for our children and the fact that they can live full and healthy lives, but it's inevitable that there are these things in the world that we have to deal with, and so we hope we can make a difference with it.
Yeah, you are, and you're making a huge difference, and it's a great service. Hey, before we go, you go, but we'll talk to you again soon, and I hope you can stop by in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. 211, how's that working out?
Really fantastic. The call volume has expanded dramatically, which shows the fact that there's a need in the community. I met with a community group in Wakanda today that had some 25 or 30 people at it, everything from faith-based to the food pantries to townships, and did a presentation on that. So the United Way 211 system is really, really, really being used now. We're over close to 800 calls now since its soft launch and then full launch in September. So clearly people are identifying with getting to 211 to get any of the social needs they need, help with rent, whatever it is that there's a particular situation, where there is the 211 website where you can get a lot of data off of that. I'll make sure at the next meeting that I have all that, or next time I talk to you, we have all that. But if you go to United Way of Lake County, you can find the 211 link. And there is a lot of raw data that communities can look up by their own zip code and see what is going on and where those needs are. So strategically, they can start to address their population as far as what their population needs are. So it's going extremely well. And I thank you for always bringing that up because it's important to the mission of what we're trying to do in the county.
It is, and it's real popular from what we're hearing, the feedback we get. Tim, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing, Operation North Pole. Thank you. I know with the Rucksack March, we've had you in. With the health department, I could go on and on. As I said, like Terry Cox, you're a busier guy now that you're retired than when you were on active duty with the fire departments, and really everyone does appreciate it. Feel better with the sciatica. Been there, done that.
Me too.
And hands too. And have a happy Thanksgiving with your family.
The best to all of you and a happy Thanksgiving. And thanks for your comments about Terry because he does a great job.
He does. All right, Tim. Have a great evening.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, Tim Sasko, a wonderful guy, wonderful member of our community. Wish there were more like him. We're going to run some messages, and then we're going to be talking some hockey. That wasn't supposed to play on it. Some other music came in there. Well, we're going to save some music for a little bit later. But here's a few messages before we go, or before right now, and then we'll be back.
WRLR is community radio.
I feel much more informed with what's happening today.
When we say community, we really mean it.
It's not like corporate, it's just a good station, yeah?
We don't belong to some large corporation that makes a profit from this station.
Because I like the diversity.
And listeners won't be forced to listen to large blocks of advertising. Operations at community radio stations are made possible through grants and underwriting from companies within this area of operation, and donations, funds, and equipment, services, and time from area residents who volunteer their time to get involved.
It's as if it's my next door neighbor talking to me, only he's on the radio instead of next door to me.
Real people just like you.
I like them. They tell it like it is.
Local focus, local news, local music, of the local people, and by the local people.
It's different than the rest of the stuff I hear.
I love the show. I listen every day.
WRLR.
Cornicchione's New York Style Pizzeria in Antioch at Routes 83 and 173 is another proud sponsor of WRLR Sports. Cornicchione's pizza dough is made from scratch using a family recipe that originated in Brooklyn, New York. Their dough is proofed at least 24 hours. Cornicchione's menu includes pizzas, calzones, pasta, and much more. They have dine-in, carry-out, and delivery. Their number is 224-308-1499. Top and Drop Complete Tree Service in Ingleside salutes the men and women in uniform who are standing tall for our freedom. Let's remember them by continuing to donate blood for our returning injured military. Be a silent hero and give blood today. It could save a soldier. This reminder is from Top and Drop Complete Tree Service in Ingleside, specializing in tree service, skilled demolition, concrete service, and firewood needs. They can be reached at 847-546-9510.
Since Comcast came into the Lake McHenry County area as the primary source for cable TV, they've shown themselves to be one of the most community-minded companies around. They've graciously provided our studio facilities with cable TV services so we may monitor national news, and CHSI high-speed internet service so we may stream our broadcast signal via the web to increase our coverage area to include a global audience. For more information on basic cable, digital cable, or high-speed internet cable services, their website is www.comcast.com.
WRLR 98.3 FM.
Over there's the water. Whoosh, whoosh. And look at all this stuff I'm standing on. It's called sand, and it's everywhere.
This woman may sound silly to you and me.
It's made up of little tiny pieces of rocks. Teeny little pieces of rocks.
But to her 2-year-old son exploring the world around him, she makes perfect sense.
How does it feel when you touch the sand? Is it warm? Uh-huh. It's hard to hold in your hand, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Learning starts long before school does, and children are naturally curious. They want to learn, so follow their lead. Take simple, everyday moments like sorting laundry or playing on the beach and turn them into learning moments.
Is this water? No. Very good. This is sand. Oh, no, it's not food. It's sand. We don't eat sand.
Turn everyday moments into learning moments. Find out how at bornlearning.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the second half hour of the Search Presents show for November the 21st, 2019. A special show for Thanksgiving week, which really will sort of start this week because we won't be here next week. So we're doing 2 shows in a row. And then we'll see everybody again on December the 5th. And we're going to be talking some ice hockey and given our early winter. It's not too soon. But there was one important announcement. Ann, do we want to make this announcement? Or Jill, either one of you can get that out.
She's fine.
You can do it.
Go ahead.
Without my glasses? You want to do this without my glasses?
I didn't.
Can you read it?
What are we doing? Please read. Yeah, Prince of Peace Holiday Show, crafters, vendors, and artists. Saturday and Sunday, November 23rd and 24th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is at the Parish Life Center, which is 135 South Milwaukee Avenue, Route 83 in Lake Villa, Illinois.
Okay. Well, thank you. Please get out there. And to all organizations that are out there in the local area, if you have an event that you want to get publicized, especially charitable events, free community events, please let us know at WRLR 98.3 FM LP, right, Ann?
LP, yep.
The voice of Lake County. And we're happy to do a live read or maybe even have you in studio and talk about it. So please do that. Now, for the second half hour of the Search Presents show, you've heard from him in our first half hour. We were happy that he participated. Lieutenant Heath Graham of the Gurnee Fire Department. Heath, before we start talking about pucks and sticks and penalty minutes on that and power play goals, how long have you been with the fire department?
I've been at Gurnee now full-time for 24 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so it's
You're young.
been a long
I mean,
time.
I would swear you're like, 29 or something.
52.
Oh, my God. Oh, good.
Wow.
Staying in shape.
My kids
Must
keep
be the
me
hockey.
young. It is. It's a secret.
Well, great. And you made it up to lieutenant after all those years, so congratulations.
Yeah, it's been a good career there. Enjoy it. Gurney's a great place to work, and, it's just an awesome place to serve. So.
Okay, yeah, and we've had, I think we've had other members of the hockey team in before talking about the Waukegan Gurnee game, but from what I understand, a group of all the local hockey playing firefighters got together from several departments, and you entered a team in the Armed Services Hockey Association tournament that was just held earlier this month out in Las Vegas.
Yep. So this
Well, hold on, I got to know one more thing first.
All right.
Did you win any money while you were out there?
No money. We got a pullover. If you win your division, you get a pullover.
All right, then tell us about the hockey anyway.
So the Armed Services, we've been playing hockey for most of my life. I've got 3 kids that are, in their 20s now that are playing hockey. We're all on the same men's team. So the team that I've been playing with for the longest out of Kenosha, we have some military members on that team. And they invited us to come out to Las Vegas. It's every November, usually the second week of November. It's always Veterans Day weekend, hence the military whole tournament thing. So we all got together and I said, yeah, sure, we'll join you out there. They had been playing for a while. So the first year we went out there in 2015 and we ended up winning their division. So from there on, we pretty much got hooked. And every year it's in Las Vegas. So that is just a whole nother experience in itself. Hanging out there and then trying to play hockey. Some years there's so many teams there that they're playing 24 hours a day. So it's a 5-day tournament, and you could have a game at 2 o'clock in the morning and then next morning at 10 o'clock a.m., something like that. So we've got caught a couple times where we might have been out way too late and then had to come right back in.
No, that wouldn't happen in Vegas, no.
Right. But yeah,
but it's great. Even if you have a late game, I mean, there'll be plenty to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You pretty much don't sleep
you
out
won.
there.
You
But
won.
we won. So our first year we won. We were hooked, and so the number of years after that, I kept going out there, and we'd invite a couple other teammates and stuff. And this past year, I decided we had enough interest. We had been playing with the Waukegan firefighters and some other local firemen that I thought, you know what, I'll make up my own team, and we'll just go out there and see how we do. And so we ended up putting a team together of mostly Gurney Fire and Waukegan. And you are allowed 3 civilians per team. So we got a couple civilians that we know that like to play, and it's pretty much friends or friends of family. So made the trek out there and had a great time, and ended up winning our division this year. So, yeah, next year,
congratulations.
They'll probably just keep bumping us up a division.
Now, when you say division, was it an age group or
it's based on talent, basically. So they have this year there were 6 different brackets, and it's anywhere from semi-pro experience, college, all that type of hockey, down to men's league hockey, where we just haven't played any organized hockey. We just knock the puck around, and so it's just local guys. They call it a beer league last time. So yeah, so they cover everybody, and it's a great tournament.
The old pub league.
Yeah, exactly.
Where,
I'm sorry.
where do you play in Vegas?
What do you play?
Where do you play?
Where? Oh, so we have 2 different places that we go to. There's 2 different rinks, and we go to the Sobe Ice Arena, which is actually in a casino out in Fiesta Rancho, and it's probably about a 20-minute drive off the Strip. And it's if you've never seen an ice rink in a casino, it's something different. But they do a great job at hosting it. But then the other place that they just introduced a few years ago was when the Vegas Knights came around. They have a practice facility, and that's just also outside of the Strip. So we actually get to play a lot of our games at the Las Vegas Knights practice facility. So as long as they're not in town, it works out perfect, and it's a beautiful, arena to play in.
Yeah.
So
I'm guessing that the Las Vegas Knights, that's a professional team, because I don't follow hockey.
yes, they are. They are.
Yeah, they are. In fact, they're new. They're just been in business for a couple of years, but they've done remarkably well.
Yeah, their first year they did really good. So they didn't win the Stanley Cup, but they were there. So
yeah. What's amazing to me, like knowing a little bit about hockey and being involved in some charity teams and some adult leagues, really not on the ice, but through other things that I do. I gave up skating a long time ago. I played on the floor for a long time afterwards until somebody hit me with a puck in the wrong place, and I said, I'm too old for this. But what is surprising for me, because I'm presuming that most of your firefighters are guys that played, in high school, not really beyond that. And you do get guys. I mean, guys just will be playing hockey all their lives as long as they can walk. They're skating,
Sure.
And as you say, the semi-pro, maybe some minor league experience, college, which is a huge level, and those guys tend to. I mean, I would go. I can't believe you guys do that with a puck, because I was just like whacking a few pucks around, and these guys like, okay, I'll put it there, and they weren't even making pros.
Right.
And I've been involved in some charity events with some ex-Blackhawks, and the charity team would usually they'd let them score 5 goals, and then 10 minutes later the ex-Hawks have 7.
Right. Yeah, they mop it up.
But that's an amazing feat then for you guys to win it against that type of open competition.
Yeah, right. I mean, when you consider it's not just the USA, it's Canada, USA. We've had teams as far as Australia participate in it. So, there's been a huge, wide variety of different countries.
I mean, the Canadian guys, it's life or death.
Yeah, right.
At whatever level.
Exactly.
I mean, here it's like, okay, everyone's having fun and we enjoy it, and some guys are hockey lifers and everything. But for the Canadian guys,
so we're definitely not up in the elite league, I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
But a lot of the guys that are on our team haven't played any further than high school hockey. So, I mean, it's, I've never played any organized hockey other than men's leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I got my kids involved in it, they played throughout high school and in Pee-wees and all that kind of stuff. So they definitely are the talent on the team. But a lot of some of us older guys that picked it up later on, they're slowly but surely getting into it, and we're getting better and better. So as long as you get in the right division, everybody, it's good competition. In all of our games this year, we were 1-2 goals difference.
Now, how many games did you play in the tournament?
5 games. So everybody plays 4 games. Your first 2 games are what they call seeding rounds. So if you are better than most of the groups in there, they move you up, and if you're not as good, you stay there. And so. You have 2 seeding rounds, and then the next 2 games is actually the competition where it starts. And then if you get the best record, and then they use the goals against differential as a tiebreaker, you make the championship game, and then you get a 5th game. So, we got 5 this year.
And you made the championship game. You won. What was the final score?
Yeah, final score was 3-2.
Okay.
My middle son, Justin, scored a game-winning goal with about a minute left. Right after the ref has said, okay, if we go to overtime, this is what's going to happen. And they ended up scoring the last goal. We went ahead 3-2, and we just had to hold on for a minute, and that was the end of it. So.
And you beat a team from Colorado.
Yeah.
But you're uncertain
Punishers, and I'm not sure what they do.
What their identity is.
Right. But they were good. They played really hard, and we were just exhausted by the time we got done. So, 5 days, 5 games, we were all beat, and for that one to go right to the buzzer was pretty fun. But we were done. We were ready to leave.
You might mention that Justin is a Gurney fireman.
Yeah, Justin, my middle son's a Gurney fireman. My oldest son, Adam, is with Countryside Fire Department.
Nice.
And my youngest son, Kevin, who skates on our team, is going through the process at Waukegan right now. So he might be boosting up their hockey team in the next couple of years. So
I was, in fact, I forget who I was talking with recently about the Waukegan department, and I said George Bridges Jr. really encourages his members to go out and be athletic and do sports.
Oh, yeah. It's a great way to keep in shape.
Everyone is he wants in shape there, and he certainly is.
Yeah, he is, definitely.
That's for certain. Now, you guys, does the department team play? I know you play charity matches,
right?
But do you guys otherwise play on a regular basis at the department, or?
There's one other, the charity match that you're referring to is probably the one out of Vernon Hills, and we do that through. It's usually the police fire tournament that we call it. So, and Brian Lamont, another fireman at Gurney, he's the one who runs that for us and organizes the whole thing, and that's real competitive. That's definitely a really good hockey game because there's a lot of police around here that are very good. So,
that's usually in Kenosha, right?
What's that?
Usually in Kenosha.
Yeah, so we'll switch off, but like the last time I think we played in Vernon Hills and Kenosha, we haven't done any of the charity events there yet, but yeah, I'm sure, as we rotate around, Pleasant Prairie is the other place real close, that's where we play out of there.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. We just did an autism tournament, and that was, I think, pretty much all Gurney firemen. And that's another great tournament. It's definitely a fun time, and they put it together really well. But that one, you could be playing 3-4 games in 2-3 days. It just happens quick. So it's exhausting, but it's for a great cause and it's a blast. So keeps us all in shape.
No, I was taking a look at the website before we started talking, and I saw there was a pretty good entrance fee. It wasn't just show up and you can play.
Right.
Do you guys, is that through charitable donations? Or?
You can do it, and because this is my first year starting my own team on there, I guess there's a way to do some fundraising for it, and they have a website that you can set up your own team page and stuff and do that kind of thing. This year we didn't do it, so each team we just broke the fee down, and it was I think it's like $2,800 for a team. So we just split it between us all, and it definitely adds up. But guys that wanted to go out there and play, it was worth it. It was fun time, and you probably spend a couple $100 for that, and you split a van to take us everywhere. You split the rooms. We try and put in 4 people into a room instead of the 2, and so we have our ways that we try and keep it cheap on us, but. Yeah, so we handle it this time. Maybe next year, if we can get on the radio beforehand and we think a little bit more in advance, maybe we can get a little bit of that.
Well, you can talk to Jill Hughes about getting on the radio beforehand.
Sounds good.
She handles all those things for us.
We should get Rusty to do a broadcast of that, the game.
Yeah, we ought to.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we were talking as to whether when Terry told me about it. And I said, hey, would you guys rather get on the sports show? Because we have, in case you don't know, we have just really now a really new and vastly improved sports department. It's still headed up by Mr. Sports himself, Rusty Silver, but it includes 4 shows now, plus the live high school football and basketball. Now to start basketball broadcast, and so especially local sports. So I didn't know whether you I said, well, do the guys really want to come on our show, or do they want to get on a sports show? I didn't know whether you'd have a bigger kick.
I didn't have a lot of volunteers
show.
wanting to come be on the radio. They were all nervous. So
they could do both, They should do both.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Sure.
Yeah, so maybe when you're talking about forming up for the next one,
yeah, definitely.
I'll mention it to Rusty.
Okay, yeah, sounds great.
You can tell them you don't have to be nervous. It's not hard,
yeah,
right?
no, it's not.
It's only Round Lake.
You guys make it easy.
It's okay.
Yeah,
we don't think really there's that many people listening. Other than our family and friends.
We have about 11 now, I think.
11?
Yeah, and we know them all. Yeah, so you're right. You're okay.
Ian's had a couple more grandchildren or something. So
there might be 8 or 9 listening because I think my kids, maybe my wife, are on there listening. So yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to play field hockey. The girls used to play field hockey at high school, and the boys would play soccer. So we played field hockey for years. And if we did a game with the boys, it was just a much faster game. Yeah. And there was blood involved. I mean, it was just, it was very aggressive.
Yeah, where'd you go to school?
Hockey?
Well, you just play instead of ice hockey, you play on the field.
Because my son's friend, Sasha, she plays ice hockey.
Okay.
With the women's league.
Yeah. We have actually.
She lived up here.
There's a number of women in this tournament too, out in the military tournament. So there's, a bunch of them on all the other teams that we played, and so it's popular with everybody. So it's a great time.
Yeah, I mean, what's one of the things that developed here internationally, and it's big Olympic sport, field hockey is huge internationally. They do play it here, but actually ice hockey for women has gone on here, and you usually see when you're talking Olympics, when you get to the Olympic finals, it's USA Canada almost every year in terms of that on it. But yeah, hey, the ladies are joining in, as they say. Yeah. But believe it or not, field hockey gets brutal because those are wooden sticks.
They are.
Yeah.
They hurt.
And that ball's heavy too.
Yeah.
Aren't they real small though too, where you got to crouch way down?
It's small, and the sticks are small, and it's like it's weather like this or colder.
Yeah.
And you don't have big tracksuits on or anything.
No.
So it's cold, and a lot of bruises and blood, but it's fun. It's
fun?
Yeah.
Until you hit the shin one time.
Yeah.
Shins aren't good.
You never hit anybody with a stick. It's quite a great experience.
Yeah.
Lou, I am not surprised that you would find that enjoyable.
Me too.
I would always.
Jerry agrees with me.
Listen, I played a lot of my hockey with the Holy Goalie.
I know.
And let me tell you, his family, because he has like 5 brothers. His family was he comes from, his dad was a pharmacist. And I used to complain, given how they used to perform every night when we played, that his father must have been a butcher because his brothers were absolutely terrible out there. On there. But no, it's great to do things like that. Now, the department also, when the guys aren't playing hockey, they play basketball, and there's some charity games too, and softball.
Sure they do.
I think too.
I have never gotten involved in basketball. I'm not that coordinated with that, but I know they've done stuff at the high school, versus the coaches and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not really familiar with all that.
Okay,
Let me
Terry,
tell you.
Go ahead. Please do so, Terry.
As a former Gurney fireman from 1960 to 66, we never did anything.
What century was that?
I was born in 66.
I left Gurney and went to Lake Forest Fire Department in 66. So.
Yep.
And I mean, Gurney at that time had how many people?
Well, they were all volunteer.
Yeah.
We had no.
But I mean, the town didn't. I mean, it was before Gurney Mills. It was before Great America.
Yeah.
Grand Avenue had a stop sign, I think.
Yeah.
We had 32 square miles, and we went all the way out to Grandwood Park. But the road was basically gravel until you got out to Hunt Club Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Was a while back.
The horses don't like to run on.
Yeah,
pavement.
I grew up in the city, but my grandfather had a place out near Antioch, and so I used to spend a lot of my summers up there, and we would drive up from the city, and where Great America is now, you would see cows. I mean, that was a cow pasture where Great America was.
The day before they started, or the week before they started construction of Great America, myself and several of our relatives went pheasant hunting in that field. And we got some pheasants.
That's all it was. Excuse me. So for the while you're here, and because I have two great firefighters, and I had posted something on the Facebook page for WRLR, so it's real. If it gets posted on the WRLR Facebook page, it's not fake news, it's true. But this floats around, but we did want to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving food preparation safety. And apparently, everybody says, I've never done it, but people say, oh, you got to deep fry your turkey. You'll really love it that way. But it's a pretty dangerous trick. And I posted the video where the firefighter was showing how quickly things could blow up. But dangers in that, guys? I'll throw it to you guys.
We've done it. We've done it twice, and you just have to be really careful.
Yeah.
You have to defrost it completely and dry it completely, and before you cook it, you put it in water so you know how the level of the fat is going to be when you put it in, because people don't realize that it's going to overflow. But
proper amount of oil in the pot, get it heated to the right temperature, and
watch it.
Just be careful.
And the people in Gurnee have a particularly safe way of doing it. They go to Fat Man's.
Exactly.
And Fat Man's make several hundred turkeys every year.
Yep.
But it's great. It cooks
great.
in like 45 minutes. You can cook a whole turkey in 45 minutes, so it's perfect.
Yeah, people always, I'm sure you guys can talk about it a little bit more than me, but everybody always seems to have their special recipe on, how they can, how to get great turkey. And I remember one year my mother had a recipe where you were supposed to start the turkey. You were going to eat it like at 5 in the evening, but you were supposed to slow cook it starting at about 2 a.m. Well, in the house that I grew up in, I had a room off the kitchen. They banished me to,
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, as far as way.
We understand.
Yeah. There was the kitchen,
in the kitchen,
and then a pantry, and then me, way at the back end of things. So like I went and so she sets it, and then about 3 or 4 o'clock I wake up. It smells like turkey, but the thing is dripping. The pan had busted or something, and like I couldn't sleep the rest of the day. I really wasn't in the mood for much turkey. But the safety demonstration is on our website, as I said, and it's got a lot of people to view it. Boy, it's got over 100 people alone from our website. But it's a popular video when that kettle blows up on it.
And you do have to be particularly pay attention, because if you're on a deck or anything like that, and it boils over, it's over.
Well, is it also one of the things to do if you're going to do it? Put it out in an open area, not on a wooden structure.
Right, absolutely. Definitely on a driveway, something like that. Nowhere near the garage, the house. Nothing where anything, if something does go wrong, it's going to catch on fire. So.
Well, that's actually true about grilling, too.
Sure.
You're not supposed to have your gas grill on your wooden deck, which I have on my wooden deck. But if you do, you should have a piece of something that's asbestos-like or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you want to use asbestos, actually.
I said asbestos-like.
Okay.
Yeah. Pay attention.
All right. I was. Then for those that are, because now probably this weekend coming up and the next one, we'll be putting out your Christmas lights. Important things to work out there. In my case, have somebody hold the ladder when I'm up on the gutter, so I don't tip over, but that's always a good one. Make sure your lights are, there's a special way to plug them in to make sure you're not going to fry yourself or something.
Make sure it's all grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think nowadays with the LEDs too, it's taken a lot of that out of it. You know? So it's such low voltage that you can string a bunch of them together and not have to worry about it. I think the biggest worry now is just climbing up and down the ladder and being safe about that. So I would hire somebody, but I have a ranch, so it's not bad. I don't mind doing it anymore. My last house, I'd have to go up 2-3 stories, and last
weekend we were pulling out a lot of the decorations from the attic, and I was trying to explain to my wife. I'm sure she's listening and is going to call me saying, like, how could you say that about me? But I was trying to explain to her, the difference between some of the newer lights that I bought are LEDs and some of the others are, just older, bulbs and,
Condition.
Yeah, how much of a difference they make on it. But then again, they don't get heated up and it doesn't melt the snow.
Yeah, right.
On it. Hey, but Heath, thank you. We would greatly appreciate you coming out. Thank you for spending the whole hour with. You're welcome to stay.
This is great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
On it.
Got my feet wet. I'll come back every couple of weeks.
Please tell everybody.
Nothing to be scared about.
Tell everybody at the department. I think Terry tries to let everybody know. But you guys got some news. You have some fun events.
Good. Absolutely.
Do let me know. Any other fun events that the department's got going on for the Christmas
season? They'll probably be mad at me
season?
because I've forgot them. But no, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we've got coming up. This was the big one, just getting done with the Vegas tournament. So, yeah, we'll have to see what's coming up next.
Okay.
But I'll definitely let Terry know. And,
But thank you for coming out. And I congratulations once more. And
thank you very much.
Let us know if you're doing some fundraising. We'll talk Rusty Silver on on the sports show. But that's a Saturday morning at 8:00. But there's others on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So
sure, no problem.
We'll find a time. All right, Lieutenant Heath Graham, thank you for coming out. We're just over into the second half hour. We got a recorded interview coming up. Play a few more messages and be right back for the final half hour of the CERT Presents show for November the 21st, 2019.
You're listening to 98.3 FM, WRLR LP, Round Lake, Illinois.
Canine Clippers in Grays Lake reminds us many pets will be homeless this holiday season unless we all get involved. Let's open our hearts to the less fortunate animals in our own community by donating to our local pet organizations. There's strength in numbers, and every little bit counts. So donate today and make your own holiday season a much brighter one. This message is from Canine Clippers in Grays Lake. They can be reached at 847-223-5444.
Brighten up your lunch hour with Yesterday Once More with Stan Koenig. Stan plays all your classic favorites from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Simpler times when music was music. These are the songs you fell in love to, the music that inspired you, and most importantly, the songs that make you smile. So turn back the clock by tuning in to Yesterday Once More every Friday from 9 a.m. till noon, right here on 98.3 FM WRLR.
Hey, I'm Andy Griggs, asking you to help prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't a woman's issue. It hurts all of us. Women are injured and killed every day by their husbands and boyfriends. So it's time for men to take action right now to teach boys that violence against women is wrong, to help prevent abuse before it starts. Call the Family Violence Prevention Fund at 1-800-END-ABUSE to get a free Take Action kit containing tips on what to say to boys. That's 1-800-END-ABUSE. Teach early.
An oasis of calm, a fortress of solitude. In the middle of a crazy world, The Mellow Show.
If there's a little too much reality going down in your life at the moment, and there can be at times, then this is your personal invitation to escape. Just pull down the shutters on reality and step through a portal into a fortress of solitude, an oasis of calm. The Mellow Show here on WRLR 98.3, Wednesday evenings at 10.
Tune out of reality. Dial up serenity. The Mellow Show.
A couple of hours of music from the quieter, lighter end of the musical spectrum across time and genres.
The Mellow Show with Gary Zeep.
What's it like to walk in the shoes of a Navy SEAL, a beekeeper, a rabbi, a dentist, a ghost hunter, or a professional clown? Join me, Jim Wunderlich, on Word of Mouth, Thursday mornings from 11 a.m. to noon, and hear their stories. Captivating guests from a wide range of professions sharing a behind-the-curtain view of their jobs. Jobs such as an interrogator from Guantanamo, a private chef, a film director, a doctor, an orchestra conductor, a college basketball coach.
Jeff Dorset.
There has never been a decade quite like the 70s. From the start, it was prog rock. It graduated to glam and then on to disco and ended with new wave and punk. From Led Zeppelin to the Sweet, from the Bee Gees to the Ramones, it's the one, the only Supersonic 70s with me, Jeff Dorset, right here every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on WRLR 98.3.
And welcome back to the Search Present Show for Thursday, November 21st, 2019, our special pre-Thanksgiving edition. I just wanted to mention that if you needed more Thanksgiving safety tips in terms of food preparation, go to the Fremont Community Emergency Response Team website, or not website, I'm sorry, our Facebook page, and you'll find some posts there about it. And if you wanted to see that video we were referring to, you can either go to the WRLR Facebook page or the Fremont CERT Facebook page. Anne's got an event want to mention right off?
Well, we used to have Vernon Hills where you could drive through the Cuneo property.
Yes, I used to do that.
That's no longer. However, now there is Santa's Rockin' the Lights at Lake County Fairground. That starts tomorrow night. Or, let's see, runs tomorrow from Friday, November 22 to Tuesday, December 31st. It's at the new fairgrounds off of Midlothian, I believe. And the hours are Sunday to Thursday, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, and Friday and Saturday till 10 o'clock at night. So if you missed Vernon Hills, get out to the fairgrounds and you can see the lights.
It was great. I think, was it last year, the first year of it? The Lake County one?
I think it was, but I'm
I
not
think it
positive.
was.
That one.
Yeah, and we enjoyed it. My wife mentioned it more, and we'll talk about that. And again, one of the great private displays around at our Christmas show. I'm still we're going to do it. Hey, I wanted to get to this interview because, as always, we got jam-packed, and Dave Rich has got a real special show tonight. He's going to be going 2 hours. I think he's got 4 acts in here. But we always encourage people to get out and help on Election Day. And I was able to do an interview with Robin O'Connor, the Lake County clerk, who will tell us a little bit about the upcoming elections. That will be the party primary in March on St. Patrick's Day. And what you can do if you want to be an election judge, either for the March election or the January election. So let me play a little bit of it now. Robin, I'll confess in advance, I probably won't be able to get to it all, but forgive me, please, and I'll get you out the full interview. But here we go with Lake County Clerk Robin O'Connor and some of her staff, an interview I recorded Tuesday. And then we'll be back in about 10 minutes live. Hello, everybody. This is Lou Bruno, and I am present this morning. This is actually Tuesday morning when we're recording this interview, November the 19th, 2019, and I am in the Lake County Clerk's office with our Lake County Clerk, Robin O'Connor. Robin, how are you today?
I am doing great today.
And we have a couple of your dedicated employees here. First of all, we have Todd Goffane. Am I right there on that, Todd?
That is correct.
And Todd, you are the Chief Deputy Clerk.
Correct.
And I understand you've been here 24 years?
That is correct.
God, that's right. You must be one of the oldest. No, you're a young man. No, don't get me wrong. You must have started when you were 18. But you must be one of the oldest employees with the building to have 24 years of service.
I am, within this office.
Okay. And also we're joined by Iso Hernandez. Did I get that right? Is it Iso? Iso Hernandez. And Iso, you are a department supervisor here?
Correct.
And how long have you been with the clerk's office?
5 years now.
Okay.
So not as long as 24.
No, not as long. You have a lot to go. And you're a young lady, so you'll have probably 25 years from now, you can still be interviewed about the elections.
That's right.
All right. And I want to thank Robin for once again joining us. She always gives us a lot of pertinent information about the elections when we have them in Lake County. And for those of you that don't know, I'm sure everybody has the date memorized, but the primary election will be held in Illinois March the 17th of 2020. I know we're still in 2019, but the primary election, it comes up. And work goes into an election months, if not years beforehand, right, Robin?
Yes, it takes a lot of preparation. Do note that March 17th is St.
Patrick's Day, yeah. And your name would be O'Connor.
I know. I do remember the good old Irish days, but I'm sure that's going to add a little drama to that day.
All right, well, it's always a great day for an election.
It is.
It is. Now, just to refresh everyone's recollection, because from my experience when I've been an election attorney, people often are confused about party primaries and what they're about, because you'll get a lot of people that like one candidate from one party and then another candidate from another party, but you can't switch back and forth. And go ahead, I'll let anybody comment on that wants to. It looks like Tom wants to say something here.
Yeah, unfortunately for Illinois, we don't have that option. However, if a person wants to support a party, they do have to choose that particular ballot in that particular election. They are allowed to switch party preference from election to election, but for this election cycle, you don't have, or any election cycle, you don't have the option to choose multiple candidates of different political parties.
Right. But that doesn't mean if you voted in a prior party primary, if you voted in the Democratic Party primary the last time there was a Democratic Party primary, which was back in 2018, in March 2018, you can vote in the Republican primary in March of 2020.
Correct.
And vice versa.
Correct.
There's no plus, so everybody knows there's no plot. No one is keeping you from voting. It's a primary ballot, and that's the law. But we're going to have everybody, hopefully we'll have everybody back on a little bit closer to the election and talk more about that. But what we really wanted to talk about today in this interview was election judging and being a judge of election and what goes into that. And I'm not sure whether you can still fit the judges in for the March primary or you'll have to wait until the general election. But in any event, who would... Isabel, I'll turn it to you.
Yes, so we're anticipating a pretty busy election year next year. We've already started training our election judges. We started in November. We're reaching towards the end, but as we're seeing interest continue to come in, we may throw in a few more classes leading into December and maybe even early January. So anyone who's interested can still sign up. If we cannot fit them in for this training cycle in order to work in March, we'll get them in our system and invite them out for training prior to the November 2020 election. And those classes will most likely take place in the summer, fall of 2020.
Okay. How many judges do we have signed up, or do you have signed up for the...
How many now?
Oh, goodness.
About will do.
Well, we have just about 1,000, so we are still short 400
Oh,
judges.
wow. That's
yes.
a huge amount.
So we're counting on all our judges who are currently judges, if they haven't responded, to let us know. We'll be reaching out to them in these next coming months to get them in there and get them signed up for the March election.
Okay. Now, judges represent a political party, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, have you had to vote in that party's primary before, or you could come in and say, I'm a Democrat and I would like to be a Democratic judge, or I'm a Republican and I'd like to be a Republican judge? How does that work?
Typically, that's the way that it works. But yes, they are able to elect a political party of their choice.
Okay. So the training itself, what does the training consist of?
We have different types of training. For our new judges, it's what we call our basic training. Basic training is typically a 4-hour-long class. We go over rules and procedures. We have hands-on practice with the e-poll books, which are tablets that we use on election day. And that training is good for 2 years. Once they've completed training, they're eligible to serve as an election judge within the following 2 years. We also have specialized training for some of our judges who have served in the past, and even sometimes when they're new and they think they could take on a little bit more or want more responsibility, we'll move them into different types of training, like the ballot box judge training, which ballot boxes are the ones who guard our ballot boxes on election day. We do voter services judge training as well, and voter services handle more of the special circumstance voters on election day. They do race registration, they handle provisional ballots, so it's a specialized training. We have a variety of different classes, but the very first one is going to be their basic training.
Okay. Now, I guess what everybody likes to know, or likes what we tell people, well, I see people and they're, maybe looking to make a little extra money. I say, hey, you have free election day, you can be an election judge. Todd or Robin, how much do you get for working a long day on election day?
Well, I'll give you the exact money of what people get. So if you are a check-in judge, you'll make $140. If you're a ballot issue judge, you make $140. A ballot box judge is $180. A voter service judge, $170. And we also have some other specialties where you may be paid a little bit more. For example, if you're a nursing home judge or an early voting judge, you'll be paid a little bit differently.
Right. Now, those nursing homes and early voting will be working on multiple days, so they'll have an opportunity, obviously, for larger payroll in essence.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're an early voting judge, you may work early voting is about 3 weeks now?
2 weeks before the election.
Right. And then also you can work on election day too.
Correct.
Yeah, as far as that goes.
You have to work.
You have to work.
That's one of our requirements. I remember, yes.
Okay. Do you actually get paid for the training also? Do you receive a separate amount, or is that included in the 140?
No, that's included.
That's included, okay. So if you want a paycheck for working election day, you have to come over.
You have to come to training.
You have to come for training. And the training is held here in the Lake County Courthouse? Or county building?
Multiple locations throughout the county.
That makes it easier for people.
Morning, evening, for the people that work. Weekends. So we try and accommodate everyone.
We literally try to cover every corner of the county. We were in Waukegan, in Libertyville, Deerfield, Wakanda, and Lake Villa this time around. Oh, at Libertyville. I didn't say Libertyville. So we do try and offer a variety of classes. We have different times in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and Saturday classes. So we're really wanting people to take advantage of that and find a convenient time for them to attend and serve.
Now, you do most of the training yourself with some other staff members?
Our staff members do a lot of the training, yeah. Our staff members do the majority of the training. And it is a small office, so we all cooperate and
I've been amazed in the past when talking with Robin and prior office holders here in the clerk's office as to the size. I thought that your permanent staff was much larger, but it's only in the 30s, correct?
Yeah, upper 30s.
Yeah.
And for election judges, we will sometimes even host a large event. Like we just finished one where it was at the Genesee Theater, and we had many classes that day, and we have another large event at the College of Lake County. Mm-hmm. So, and there are many of us who are working there. Mm-hmm. We're very...
Well, if there's coffee and donuts, I'll come by.
Yeah. No, sorry, no coffee and donuts.
Well, forget it then.
But you'll get the satisfaction of being an election judge on election day, serving your community.
Well, I've been involved in elections as an attorney primarily over the years, so I've had 20 plus years on it. So I'll just enjoy being at the radio station giving election results.
What's happening, Robin?
Yes, I'll call Robin. It's much easier from the studio than being out at the polling place all day. But it is a long day, but people find it rewarding. Now, Illinois also has special provision where you can be a high school student and actually not eligible to vote, but still be a judge.
Yes, junior and senior high school students are eligible to be trained and work as election judges if they're currently enrolled in school. They may work after providing written permission from a parent or a guardian and their school principal, and they have to have a GPA of 3.0.
Oh,
So we do have
Better be a
requirements.
good student.
Yeah, they have to be. Well, because we're asking them to, miss a day of school, so we have to go through a certain procedure for that. Which brings up another point, that our students, election judges, we will go to the school. We go to high schools and train them there.
Oh, yeah.
I know. So when we say we train all over.
Yes.
All right. About how many students do sign up, if you have any numbers? on
About
that?
250.
Wow.
We might sign up to 250. I mean, we're working with Grays Lake North, Libertyville, Zion, Stevenson, Mundelein, Waukegan, and I anticipate a few more still coming on board. Hopefully Round Lake will be there too.
Okay. Well, we really encourage people to sign up to be a judge. Okay. I'm sorry, Robin, my apologies. I told you that I probably figured I'd be talking too much earlier in the show, and we had to cut it a little bit short. But we'll try to get that posted for you and send it over. But Robin and staff at the clerk's office, thank you. And certainly, if you can get out and help on Election Day as election judge, and they have some other responsibilities that maybe you can help with and get paid, please do so. Ann does it, Mary does it, and they find it quite rewarding. And Ann also will be participating in the early voting, correct?
Correct.
You take part. You're a site manager.
That's for the November, right? for the
primary.
the main elections.
Yes.
The early voting, we're just judges.
Yeah.
You can do that next year.
I will be able to do that.
Well, while we were talking, Jill's got some great news. She's her and her husband, after 40 years in the U.S.
After 40 years in the
we
U.S.
had a party for that
Finally,
over the summer.
yeah.
We had a
Working
party
on our citizenship.
You may be a citizen by
March.
Next election. Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It'll be exciting.
It's good. Your sons will be happy because they know their parents can stay in the U.S. then
I
now.
know. Well, they're old enough to stay on their own now, But,
that's
but
good.
even so, yeah, it's a big deal.
So tell me, what's the English recipe for turkey, though?
For Thanksgiving?
Yes.
English Thanksgiving turkey?
Yeah. I on Twitter, I'm in touch with some English football. They're English fans, but they're into American football.
Yeah, because that's catching on over there.
Yeah, it's catching on over there.
Yeah, it is.
And so what these guys do, they actually get together. They're able to work, and then they're done with work, and they go over to one of their house, and they actually have a Thanksgiving dinner while they're watching the American football games. And it's funny because you'll be tweeting them or twittering with them, and they're going, oh yeah, Sean, he passed out a little while ago. It's like 2 a.m. here, and but I'm still hanging on. I'm going to see the very last game, but it's fun. But you'll do the whole turkey thing?
We do the whole turkey thing. It's the problem with us is that we do turkey for Christmas, so we're doing the whole thing again in 4 weeks.
Okay.
Because we've always done that.
Christmas is our really big turkey day.
Yeah.
And we love roast turkey and everything that goes
I
with
do
it.
too.
And then we do it in November. We do it again in December. So last year we decided to do a smaller dinner and we did a Christmas brunch. But we do like you guys do, but we have to have the roast potatoes. I don't know that you guys do roast potatoes, so we did them in the
we baked her man
in the deep.
Yeah.
Well, we did the deep fried potatoes last time, and we did the deep fried turkey. It's delicious.
Right. But safely, you do that safely.
Always.
Safely.
Yep, and it was
Okay.
delicious.
Hey, again, a special show coming up right after is Dave Rich, Reality Radio. He's got quite a lineup tonight, and it'll go 2 hours. Jill, do you want to run that down?
He
quickly?
has got. What does it say? Pino Farino, Charlie Bennett, Dana Lawrence. It's a singer-songwriter night. Songs with explained histories of how they were written, and it's a fascinating show.
Okay.
Tune in at 8 o'clock to 10, so it's a 2-hour show. And the last time I listened to, I think the same person was on the show a few weeks ago, and the music was fabulous. I loved it.
And Dave features just any number of local artists, so he goes out of his way to get some great talent in here. Terry, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm going to Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, well, it'll be a little warmer there.
Spend Thanksgiving with my daughter.
Okay.
Nice.
And her family.
Very nice.
Well,
So I'll be
thank you.
back
We want
on
you
the
very much.
following Saturday.
Ann, will you be
Well,
local?
I wanted
or-
to talk about this. I wanted to get a word in edgewise, please.
Do I always let you talk?
Yeah,
No.
but not too much.
Can't believe that.
Anyway, I told Kim Ridgway, who was in here last show we had, I said, I will try and get this out if Lou lets me talk. Prevention Day. This is important for teens and their parents. It's Stand Up students in Mundelein are sponsoring a Stand Up Prevention Day to protect the teens' health and safety in Mundelein. At 8:30 in the morning, the community is invited. Business leaders, parents, community is invited to come to the Mundelein police station. Breakfast will be served. It'll be a light breakfast, and learn what's going on with your kids and what's going on in the community to prevent drug and alcohol abuse with the teens. And there's more things going on during the day. That's all. All right, Louis, back to you.
No, I was going to say Jill's going to model her hat. I'll post this a little bit later, but this is a great hat. We do love the hat.
Especially for the radio, Lou.
Yes, it's great for the radio.
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
We'll be posting that a little bit later.
Okay.
Terry's got a nice haircut, so we'll do...
Yeah, it looks like you just got a cut.
And
I went to the mall and got them all cut.
And Ann has her famous
right?
Chicago Irish shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Or T-shirt, or sweatshirt.
No, sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt. Okay, so everyone will get the staff photos posted on Facebook. Just a couple more minutes before we got to get room because Dave's got a lot going. The guys are practicing. His guests are practicing out in the hall.
Music sounds good already.
And it sounds good already. But we're inching up. We're even getting closer to the special X and the Hatchet Men Christmas show.
December 13th, Friday the 13th, Sundance Saloon, original Sundance Saloon in Mundelein. They are a fabulous band. Please come out and support them and listen to them. I went to their show a couple of weeks ago. I was blown away how good they were. They are like a seasoned band who have been playing for like 20 years. Their music is just outstanding.
And we should say Jill is very close friends with like Peter Noon and who I hope people... I've seen the pictures.
I
You
met
and
him
Peter.
a couple of times.
Yes.
I know.
So, like, take it. She knows some of the big people.
No,
that's
one of the best concerts I have been to, and I have been to a lot of shows, and that was really good, really good. So, yeah, come out. I think it's at 8 o'clock, 8 to 11, Friday the 13th.
8 to 11 will be a warm-up band.
I will be there. The radio station will be there.
It'll be a benefit
and,
for
come
a lot
and
of
say
people.
hi and meet us. And
I think Jill and Dave will be your host.
I'm not sure what's happening with. I heard that comment earlier. I'll be involved
They'll
in
do
some
a great
way.
job. So we hope to see everybody there. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great start to the holiday season. As always, Tim Sasko, thank you. Heath Graham, thank you. Robin O'Connor, thank you. My staff, thank you. You guys make me, as always, look wonderful. I didn't mess up any of the buttons today except for one. And we'll say goodnight and happy Thanksgiving, everybody, from the CERT Present Show.